What's poppin', YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Astro Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse, the Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And this video right here is going to be part 2 of my Through the Energy Sign series, moving on to Gemini energy. And I'll pause for the cause. If you don't know, if you have a lot of Gemini energy in your chart, if you're a brand new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey of self-love, self-knowledge, self-improvement, self-awareness of yourself through astrology and numerology, if nobody puts you on as to why it's so important that you have to understand and learn these things, don't worry, I got you. But there's a couple of videos. I put the link in the description. You have to watch them first so you can become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So, without further ado, let's just get it popping, shall we? Alright, so boom, Gemini energy, the twins. So now moving on, as I stated on the part 2s of these videos, is every single sign goes through the life cycle of the human cycle because we are spiritual beings living a human experience. So we went from the Aries, which is a toddler, which is the baby. We went from Aries, which is the baby, needs that attention, very kind of selfish in their wants and needs. Moved on to the Taurus, which is a toddler. Their possessions that I have, toddlers have a lot of toys. And now we're at the Gemini. Now, what does Gemini stand for in the life cycle of the zodiac of the human experience? Gemini is going to be like the preschool age, or the age where the child first learns how to speak full sentences. And the reason why I gave the Gemini this is I'm going to break it down more in this video. But first of all, let's go through the basics to get that over with. Gemini is a mutable sign. Gemini, the third sign of the zodiac. Gemini is ruled by the planet of Mercury. Now, what does mutable mean for those who don't know? Mutable means likely to change, easier to change, and wants to change. It thrives in being able to adjust its energy depending on their environment, depending on the situation. So mutable wants and loves and thrives to change. Now, being ruled by Mercury, as we already know, the planet Mercury represents our mental capacity, our communication, the way we think, and how we get it out through words, speech, and communication. So it's like our communication planet. It's the fastest planet in the solar system. It moves the fastest. So when you put the Mercury planet into characteristics of our human selves, our spiritual selves, it's the way our mind moves, how our mind moves quick, fast. Mercury represents communication and the quickness of thinking and quickness of our wit. Now, why did I give Gemini the preschool era, or the preschool area in our life, as in the preschool stage in our human existence? What happens to a child when they first are able to speak full sentences is they ask hella questions. I don't have any kids or anything, but I've been around a lot of kids during this age, or I know a lot of parents that tell me how much, like, they could be driving and the kid will ask, "Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why is this?" Like, just ask the most randomest questions. But the thing about that stage in your life when you're first able to communicate and talk is they are extremely curious about everything, curious about life. Now, babies naturally are curious about life, but they can't really express it. They're just, walking around, crawling around, like looking at their environment. But as soon as they can speak, as soon as they can say full sentences, they're asking questions and they're extremely curious. So now, what does that got to do with Gemini energy? Gemini energy is extremely curious about everything around them, about life, which is why they have the stigma of talking all the time, which is why they have the stigma of being flighty, being non-reliable all the time, which is why they are mutable, because they're willing to change. But what does that mean? Knowing that Gemini energy is very curious. If you're dealing with Gemini, or if you yourself have a lot of Gemini energy, what does that mean? These people, they look at life as in they want to learn everything and as much as they can at one time. Very good at multitasking too. But the main thing about them is the curiosity factor. Everything about life, they have to question it. They want to learn about it. They want to research it. They want to ask questions. When they're talking to people, which they are extremely good at communicating for a reason, ruled by Mercury. When they're talking to people, and they're really good at small talk too. Being able to be good at small talk is being able to be curious about that person and what they're going through, or that person in the moment, asking the right questions, listening, and also responding. They're really good at multitasking. So the reason why they're good at conversating is to converse, you have to be able to listen, to understand, and to reply and speak. And they can do all that at the same time. So they love being able to be curious about life. Being mutable means they thrive in being able to go into different situations and to be able to change and adjust and to correlate with their environment. They are the twins. They are the signs of the two sides, light and dark. You could say duality. You could say too. They do not thrive in being in a too stable of environment that they know is going to happen, because they have to exercise that mutable muscle in them. So if you're dealing with a Gemini person, or if you're dealing with a person with a lot of Gemini energy, understand that if you're the type that is not curious about life, as in you don't like to try new things, you're not questioning things, you're not trying to grow as a person, you're just like, you're just steady and stable in your way, or stuck in your way, or you're okay with doing the same thing every day. You're not really into jumping out the box and doing something different. If you're dealing with a highly Gemini-esque person in their chart, that's where that boredom factor comes in. That's where that flighty nature comes in. That's where their curiosity, as in like they already figured you out because you're doing the same thing all the time. You're not really breaking out. You're not really going outside your comfort zone. You're not really doing something different. So they already figured you out as a person. That's where they start to wander off and has to be curious about what else is there to offer in this world, because they really thrive on variety. Now, I'm not saying that Gemini-esque energy people cannot be like monogamous or can't be with one person. They definitely can do that if you are also the type that is curious about life, if you're curious about experiences in life and learning new things and being different and growing as a person and just not being stagnant. If you're not the type to be questioning things and asking things and learning about things, that's where they get bored, and that's where they kind of wander off. And they can quickly wander off because they're ruled by the planet Mercury, the quickest planet of our solar system. So their mind quickly wanders off, like quick fast. They're an air sign. Like I said, with air signs, when it comes to air signs and air in general, oxygen, you can't really hold it, you can't see it, you can't really touch it. It's just free flowing, it's free moving. You can't really control it. So the Gemini energy person, they really can't control how their mind wanders off. They really can't control how their mind kind of wants to figure things out and be curious about things. So if they're dealing with you, understand that about them, that they're really quick to like wanting to learn things and do different things and experience things. Experience for them is the biggest thing. A Gemini person is the type that could hang out with like 4 or 3 best friends all in the same day, all at different houses, like go to one house and then go to the next house and go to a different event, go to that event, like all in the same day. They can really thrive on being able to change environments, change situations, go on different things all in the same day, because they thrive on being able to be mutable and to be changing and to just like be different and be curious about life. So the biggest thing, like I said, with Gemini energy is a curiosity factor. That's why I gave them the preschooler kind of energy, the stage in life where children ask a lot of questions, talking all the time. They need communication big time. So thrive on communication, being ruled by Mercury. Thrive on being curious about life. You cannot be a boring person, and boring is just being not curious about life, like I said. So, like I said in my Gemini, the first part 1 of the Gemini energy, when it comes to them flirting and trying to get with you, try not to get led on by Gemini-esque energy, because they really find identity through themselves, through communication. So they're really good at talking. So they kind of find who they are as a person. They kind of figure out their sexuality as a person through the way that they communicate with others. So in the beginning, don't put emotions into it. Don't be all lovey-dovey in the beginning too much, because they really want things to be light and funny and witty and like, flirty, as in a light flirtatious way. Don't think that Gemini person is flirting with you or talking to you in a way that like, damn, that person really likes me, so I'm gonna like, we're gonna like having like a fantasy like, oh, we're gonna go together. Like, don't have that fantasy when it comes to them flirting, because they are really good at leading people on through their words and talking. Don't take it seriously at first, but understand that if you go into that situation in a lighthearted way, in a friendship type vibe way, not really trying to put too much emotional intensity onto it, that's where the Gemini-esque energy thrives. And that's where, as time goes on, They will communicate with you if they want things to move forward. They will communicate with you if they feeling you like that. Because Geminis, they don't really hide things. Like, they're really bad at hiding things. Like, you could tell them a secret and be like don't tell nobody. At low key, high key, it's gonna be hard for them to keep that to themselves. They're really hard. They're really bad at like keeping things to themselves. They just love to express themselves and talk and communicate. So if you're dealing with one in the beginning stages, don't be too heavy emotionally. But you realize over time, like once y'all build that friendship and build that communication, and they also see that you're curious about life, and they see that you love experiencing things, and they see that you're actually a fun person. You're not boring. You're not mundane. You're not stagnant. You're also expressive, communicating wise. They will communicate with you. Also, they want to move on that level. So keep that in mind with this placement, as Geminis are very flirty, are very lighthearted in when they're saying and speaking, but they move so free that if you get caught into their words, because they are extremely talented and gifted with the way they use their words, if you get caught in their whirlwind of their words in the beginning, understand that they have mutable energy. They are the twins. They have dual personalities, dual kind of energy. Just don't be too involved in the beginning, because understand that about them, that they're flighty, they're mutable, they love to talk, communicate, they love to experience, and they're very curious. So come into that situation lighthearted, friendship vibe, experience life with them, ask them questions, be curious about their life too, be curious about how they think, and you'll see how you can actually build with a Gemini easily. Now, Geminis build easier or get along easier with other air signs and fire signs, because air signs and fire signs are very similar. Like in Aries are very similar to Geminis, as in Aries are kind of impulsive. They don't really think through things before they do it. Geminis kind of move through life, or kind of speak and communicate and talk through life, not really thinking through as in planning the repercussions of their actions, but they just like to experience things, but they do it in a more free-flowing, quick-witted, quick-thinking way. So their mind is really extremely quick-witted and quick-thinking on how they do things and move. So if you like an earth, if you have a lot of earth energy in your chart, a lot of water energy in your chart, and water and earth strive stability and stagnation and being able to know what's going to be there, and they're kind of mundane in how they move. They're not really open to trying new things all the time because they really care about their stability and their safety. If you're more water and air, understand that working with a Gemini or trying to get with a Gemini energy X person, you have to understand how they work so you won't get yourself tied up, basically. That's the whole thing of this, is knowing how other people maneuver in this world, knowing how other people work, how they think, how they move, allows you to know how you can interact with them and know how to either put your feelings in too heavy or just like keep it light, keep your friendship live, keep it lighthearted. But one thing I do hear a lot about this placement or about Gemini energy is that they can't be monogamous. They always need variety. They're really like the polygamous type of people. Now this is true on the surface with generally Gemini energy on surface. The way that their mind works and how curious they are, they do love variety, and they do love to be, they do thrive not always being monogamous, being one person. But that goes into your birth chart. Let's say you're a Gemini sun, but you have like a Venus in Cancer or a Venus in Pisces. That obviously makes you more susceptible to being open to like the monogamous kind of energy. But Gemini energy in general on the surface thrives in variety, thrives in being or doing different things at one time. They need to be able to multitask. They need to be able to be mutable. They need to be able to change their environment or change how they move, change their personality, change their way of thinking or way of talking in different situations, because they need to thrive in that mutable kind of energy. So understand Geminis being mutable, understand Geminis being curious, how much they love to study, how much they love to learn and ask questions, extremely intelligent, extremely smart. You yourself, dealing with a Gemini energy, you have to know how to use your mind to be able to communicate, to be able to problem solve, and to ask questions. Like the mental for them is everything. They're not really big on how you look and the looks factor of things. They're not really big on like the materialness, the material factor of nature like Taurus energy is, but they are huge on the communication, the mental, the curiosity, the free flowing, the experiencing of just being able to do things and be free in life, not being stagnant and stuck in a box and stuck in a stagnation kind of energy. So overall, Gemini energy, understand that about yourself is you have to keep your mind moving. You have to always be curious about things. You have to be studying things. You love to study things. You love to be in different situations. Understanding dealing with a Gemini person in the beginning, give them space, be free with them, be lighthearted with them. Don't bombard them with emotional heaviness. Don't be too heavy on them emotionally. But understand how if you're also curious about life and free flowing about life and wants to experience life and are questioning life and wants to study and talk and be social about life, if you're also free flowing in that way, y'all will work extremely well with each other. So that was my video on Gemini energy. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is going to be on the Cancer energy, and you already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate all y'all for real, you already know. But if you still haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, handle it one time for your boy. Don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, be safe, and breathe. It's your boy, Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie. I'ma see all y'all when I see y'all.